I've been needing to find a new apartment, which has not been easy with credit as bad as mine. Luckily, I found cosigning.com. They connected me with a cosigner who helped me get my dream apartment for me and my dog. I just paid a small fee and was able to move in fast. Get the cosigner you need for the apartment you want. Check out cosigning.com today.
We call this the fog of war, where we don't actually know what's true and not true until the smoke clears. Right now, we're still in the fog of the damage between the Israel and Iran strikes. However, it is being widely reported that the Mossad chief named David Barnea was liquidated by the Iranians. The Iranians had extremely successful attacks against Israel, but they were extremely well targeted, and the Mossad headquarters was destroyed. Mossad is the equivalent of the CIA. It's actually the Israeli intelligence organization. It's widely regarded as a terrorist organization because they do go around to different countries, ignoring borders and laws, and they have conducted covert assassinations against anyone they decided needed to go. So that's why this is such a big deal, but that also kind of explains why Israel will not let anyone take pictures or video without being sent to prison if you're showing which buildings were destroyed in Israel. It appears to be an extremely large cover-up, but I want you to know about this man, Mr. David Barnea, who might no longer be with us. Again, this is what's being reported. It's the fog of war, and I'm just repeating it back to my audience.
First of all, I want to express my immense appreciation for everything you are doing here. Not just from the beginning of the operation, I mean many months, and even many years back, that you actually managed to do all the activities correctly so that we are able to reach one appropriate moment, which is the moment of the beginning of the operation. There was not a single person here who was not moved.
If you listen to what he's saying, they carefully, this is Israeli news, by the way, they've carefully chose a video where the language is very obscure and general, meaning there's nothing shows when this video was taken or him specifically talking about the Israeli-Iranian attacks. So this is an old video, this is dated.
Moved to the depth of his soul, not only because we succeeded, but because we truly understood the magnitude of the hour of the...
See, if you, again, it's all just very general. There's nothing specific so that you'll be able to date this video. And this was put out, and this apparently is the leader of the Mossad. This is their chief, and he is no longer with us. This was reported by multiple people on different sites, but we'll talk about it.
The fact that Iran assassinated the chief of Mossad.
Yep, that is one of the stories that Iran wants to keep under wraps. You heard that. Not only has Mossad chief been killed, they destroyed the HQ. For context, I don't know why this shit keeps going in and out. For context, if you want to understand what that is, the American equivalent of that is bombing the CIA building, destroying the CIA building, and killing the CIA director. Yeah. How many of you found that shit out? This is why Israel has been so adamant on blocking what you call it, journalists from going in there to video what's going on. They don't want, like, how many of you knew that the Mossad building has been destroyed? That's the whole point of Israel controlling journalists. They don't want certain type of information coming out. But yo, to be fair, it seems Iran is doing a lot more damage than we thought they're actually doing.
Why?
So it appears that Israel bit off more than it could chew from the Iranians. Why they, and this is the thing, Benjamin Netanyahu is scheduled to go to prison. As soon as the war stops, as soon as the fighting stops and Israel can get back to business, he goes to jail. It's in Benjamin Netanyahu's best interest to make sure things in Israel never go back to normal, never go back to business as usual. He has to keep instability and he has to keep war going. He's been on this since October 7th. I don't think it's going to end anytime soon. However, he took a gamble. He rolled the dice, and it could have went one of two ways. Trump could have jumped in with them and went into a full-scale assault against the Iranians, or Trump could have just did what he did and said, we're going to just support you from the background with refueling, shoot some missiles out of the sky, but we're not going to join the war against Iran. And Trump did the right thing. I was nervous at first, and I said, if Trump strikes Israel, if Trump strikes Iran, or Trump tries to join the war against them, then the America First movement is over. However, he did launch strikes, but they were unsuccessful. However, there was a ceasefire that came after that. But I think now the Israelis have a respect for the Iranians because, at least for the time being under this administration, Israel finally understands that our arsenal is not theirs to wield against whoever they want to. You got to think about it. We've been fighting wars for Israel for 30 years now. The war in Iraq #1, Iraq #2, Desert Storm, Libya, Syria, now Iran. There was a list of countries, and there's only like 4 more countries left that we were scheduled to overthrow by 2020. So we're only off by a few years. The American arsenal is not up for the control of the Zionists, and I think Trump is starting to see through Netanyahu. A lot of us have saw through him a long time ago. Another thing that's being reported is that Iran actually captured a lot of the spies that helped Israel assassinate other Iranian officials. So now Iran. So now Iran has actually cleaned up their mess, and Iran spies. So they're executing men in Israel. They're executing Iranian men who were accused of spying for Israel.
Well, let's talk about the aftermath of the weekend's US strikes on Iran's nuclear program. In Iran itself, the judiciary's news agency says 3 men accused of spying for Israel have been hanged. Reports also say Iran has arrested 700 people accused of having ties with Israel during the 12-day conflict. With me is Param Gabadi from BBC Persian. Param, this is not something we're unused to with the Iranian regime putting people to death. What do we know about this instance?
So it shows that how Iran is in a state of panic, Iranian authorities. How can you arrest 700 spies in a matter of days? So it shows that Iranians they want to show strength. And that's what many Iranians have feared in the past few days, that the Iranian authorities, because they feel humiliated, they will take revenge on their own people.
Now, the reason I would counter that argument is because, well, if you look over here and you look up Israel blocking reporters, then you would literally be able to make the same assessment. Israel is panicking. Israel is afraid. Israel doesn't want this to get out. This is actually a Fox News anchor that they blocked in Israel.
Has been up all night, is standing by with all the details. Trey, what can you tell us?
Yeah, Laura, following that Israeli attack against Iranian nuclear facilities and top IRGC leadership overnight and into today, the Iranians have responded with 3 waves of ballistic missiles. This is Israel's version of the Pentagon, the Kiryat. And the building on this compound was just hit.
Please go back, please. Go back, please.
You can understand.
They said this is Israel's version of the Pentagon, so that is the Mossad headquarters that was destroyed. And allegedly, David Barnea, the leader of Mossad, was in the building along with countless other Mossad agents and staff, still were there working, and they've been liquidated. So the same points that they're trying to use propaganda to make about Iran, there's actually where they're being hypothetical when they're trying to guess why they're capturing all these spies. There's actually verifiable facts and reasons that you can look into of them actually panicking and not only just blocking reporters, but threatening anyone who takes pictures or makes videos of the damage and puts it on the internet, that they're actually threatening you with putting you behind bars for years. years in prison for just reporting the news. If that's not afraid and panicking, I don't know what is.
Yeah, it's very tense at this specific location because the Iranians are now targeting the defense establishment of Israel. And so I'm going to have my cameraman pan up here to this building just across the street from security. And so,
well, apparently Fox News is not welcome to take pictures of the damage, but this reporter live on the ground confirmed the Pentagon of Israel destroyed. Their whole little district right there, specifically targeted, pinpoint targeted. Now, Iran, with the ferocity of their technologically advanced missile system, could have, liquidated thousands of civilians. They didn't. They specifically went after military and intelligence targets in Israel. Israel knows damn well they had no chance against Iran. That's why they've only postured against Iran for years. They wanted the Americans to come in and be their lapdog and their puppets, and we refused. I thank Donald Trump for keeping us out of that engagement, but it's not like he abandoned Israel. He went in just enough to say we did something, even though we didn't really do anything. That's actually the art of the deal. He's actually playing both sides. He's a dual agent. Smart man. And I'm glad that we didn't just go all in, balls to the wall, and let Netanyahu just control us like a puppet. This is not Obama. This is not Bush. He's not Hillary. Those days are over. America first, America only. Israel dead fucking last. Even I'd put Ukraine above Israel at this point, but there is no more Ukraine. I wonder what the Russians are going to change the name of the Ukraine to once they take Kiev. I know that Bakhmut is Artemovsk now, and they've already been changing the names and updating them to Russian names. Soon we're going to have a new name for the Ukraine. Calling a country the Borderlands, it didn't really have a ring to it anyway, so they're going to have to come up with something even better. But do me a favor, share the video, like and subscribe. Now you guys know that it's still the fog of war, but it's being widely reported that the head of Mossad was in that Pentagon, the Pentagon of Israel, the Mossad headquarters, that he was there when it was destroyed by the Iranians the other night. So we're going to see where the chips fall and see if that's going to be confirmed. We're still in the fog of war. So thank you. Like, subscribe, share the video. Right Wing Rico, the Single Boyfriend podcast, conservative radio. Thank you.
Has been up all night, is standing by with all the
I've been needing to find a new apartment, which has not been easy with credit as bad as mine. Luckily, I found cosigning.com. They connected me with a cosigner who helped me get my dream apartment for me and my dog. I just paid a small fee and was able to move in fast. Get the cosigner you need for the apartment you want. Check out cosigning.com today.